How are y'all doing?
Awesome.
It's busy.
Busy?
So busy.
Yeah, I like your jacket.
Thank you.
That's flashy. Nice. All right, let's restart.
Okay, yeah, I can start.
Hey,
So,
we've met before, right?
Yeah, Anime Expo.
Good to see you, man.
We were in the priority line
Yeah,
together.
good to see you.
Yeah, nice seeing you again, Max. So recently you were Sabito in Demon Slayer.
That's right.
And I'm a huge Demon Slayer fan. I, in fact, run my own Demon Slayer podcast. So I just wanted to ask you, like, what was it like kind of going into that role? And were you familiar with Demon Slayer at all before getting it?
No, I'd heard about it. I hadn't watched any of it. And I was not familiar with it. The most I knew about it was that it was a popular anime and it had a good chance of being on Toonami, and that was it. That's all I knew. So I was happy to be a part of it in any way I could.
Well, that's awesome.
And I really liked the character too. He was kind of. I like those characters that are very quiet and soft spoken. I like those guys.
So you voiced 3 major Fire Emblem characters,
Yes.
Leo, Caden, and Gray.
Mm-hmm.
Which one of them would you say resonated with you the most, or the one that you find yourself most similar to?
That's a good question. I've actually voiced 5 Fire Emblem characters. Leo, Caden, Forrest, Gray, and Gordon. And I think Caden I resonate with most. Caden is the fox guy, and he's got he's like a happy-go-lucky kind of dude. So I like that guy.
Very boastful.
Yeah, I like him.
Do you
I like
relate
him a
to
lot.
that?
I do. The boastfulness?
Yeah.
No, not at all. Not that part. But he does. He's just happy. I like his laugh. Yeah, I like being happy and laughing. So that's fun. Guys, I'm having major deja vu right now, of like doing this before. It's so weird. It's so weird.
You now have the opportunity of playing Superman in the DC
That's right.
Hero Girls,
Uh-huh.
from being One Punch Man to the literal Superman.
Yeah.
So Clark Kent and Superman, they've been played by dozens of people in the past, both live action and animated. So my question for you is, how did you make your own interpretation of
Good
Man of
question. One thing I like to always say is I played Jimmy Olsen before I played Superman. For those of you who don't know, Jimmy Olsen is Soup's best friend.
Steel? Yeah.
So he's the guy at the Daily Planet he's the photojournalist, Jimmy Olsen. He's really happy. You guys don't know Superman. Okay, that's fine. So how did I make it my own? You have a general idea when you're playing a like legacy character, I guess you would call it, like that. You have an idea of who that person is. You're not gonna sound exactly like any of the other people who played that character, but you are going to add small elements, and you already know he has a voice that sounds like X and a personality that is like Y. So for Soups, he's always got sort of like a deeper register or a more resonant register. So I gave him a little bit of that because he's a teenager still.
Yeah.
So I can't do this thing with him, but I can, make him a little, give him a little bravado. Because in that show, he's kind of a jerk, which is fun. It's fun to play Soups as a jerk, or a teenage Soups being like, not having the humility that he has as an adult. So yeah, but that's how you do it. You take little bits and pieces of the people that came before you.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, thank you for being interviewed.
My pleasure.
So you've gone to a lot of conventions all over the country. What's your experience with having different fans all over the country? Because, like California is so saturated with like Anime Impulse and Expo, everything like that. They have like one con like a month. But like out here, if some conventions you go to are just like it's their only chance to see you ever. So what's it like having fans in different parts of the country?
It's great. That's why I go to think like 20 different cities a year around the world. It's fun. I have so much fun. It makes it even more fun because I get to travel with my buddies, Ray Chase and Robbie Damon. We do a improv show, comedy show. Was anyone there last night? Was it you were there?
I couldn't, but I've been to your show.
Oh, you've been? Yeah,
different
we have a lot of fun. So that makes it fun to travel places, and then meeting people is a huge perk. Today, yesterday, the day before, I've heard so many different stories about how the projects I've been in affected people positively, and I love hearing those. I love interacting with people and hearing, because you don't know. You're in an isolated booth most of the time, and you're recording these shows, and and games and whatever else, and you don't. Once it's out there, think about it from my perspective. I'm sitting at home. The game is released, and I don't know what people think about it. So to have people come up and be like, "This game changed my life," or whatever it is, it's rad. It's so cool. I never thought this would be a part of my career, traveling at all in the first place, and then getting to meet so many people. It's been awesome. Really, really cool.
Alright.
Hello.
So, Caden's also my favorite character too, just aside, but
Who is?
Caden is also my favorite.
Oh, Kaden, nice.
But so, regarding the Fire Emblem series, you've been able to play in Fire Emblem Fates, Fire Emblem Shadows of Valencia, now Fire Emblem Heroes.
Uh-huh.
So what's kind of like your history of the Fire Emblem franchise, as well as your reaction to being kind of work through these different titles?
My history is I went in I remember auditioning for Chris Zimmerman, who is a director who works on a lot of stuff, and I auditioned for like a bunch of different characters, like 20 characters, I think. Or maybe, did I? Yeah, there were like 20 characters or something. And then they gave me 3 of them. They gave me Leo, Caden, and Forrest in Fire Emblem Fates, and from there I thought that was it. It was one of the first properties where I went to a convention and I actually had like a line of people waiting for me to sign stuff, and I was like, oh, this is cool. I like this a lot. So I realized it was a really big property that people really, really liked. And then they just started making more stuff with my characters. I was like, rad. And Leo was the main one who's in all those things. And it's really cool when people enjoy something so much that the company who makes, say, the game, they take note. And they go, oh, we got to do more with this character. That's awesome. Because I feel like maybe my performance is a small part of that, and that feels good to have worked for so long to get to that point, and then it pays off a little bit, But that's my history with it. I auditioned, I did those 3 characters, thought nothing of it, came out, blew up. Yeah, it's rad.
Oh, okay. Hello.
Hello.
So you have done a lot of anime.
Yes.
Yes. And I wanted to know, what is your current gripe or excitement about anime today?
My current gripe or excitement about anime. We just got an influx of more people here. Awesome. Did you tell them?
Yes.
So okay, cool.
Yeah.
Audio only?
Yeah.
Cool. About anime in today's world. Let's see. I don't have any gripes about it.
Well, tell us your excitements.
My excitements. I love anime. I was a huge anime fan as a kid. I would watch all the shows on Toonami and late night Adult Swim, and so it's ingrained in me to enjoy anime. I love it. And I think anime is getting more and more creative, and they're taking more risks.
Right.
And I think that's a great thing. I think with art, you have to take risks. So I have nothing but love for all of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I actually have a personal question for you.
Uh-oh.
What are you more excited for fans to get their hands on? Persona 5 Royal or Persona Scramble?
Okay. Personal opinion question.
Yes,
I
personal
see.
opinion
I thought you were
question.
going to be like, are you single?
Well, actually,
Persona 5 Scramble or Persona 5 Royal? Well, I don't know what's been announced, and I don't know what I can say. So I'm excited for fans to get their hands on both of those. Can someone tell me what has been announced about Royal?
Royal is out in Japan.
It's out in Japan, and have they said anything about the English? Cool.
Next year, I think in April, something like that, but it's not fully confirmed what month. It's just said that's next year.
Basically,
Okay.
it exists.
So they said it will be out, and it exists.
Yeah.
Great. Cool. Yup. I know a little bit about Royal. I don't know what I can say. I can never remember what I can say. I don't even know if I've announced anything. But anyway, I'm excited for it. That's what I can say. I'm excited for it to hit the streets and for people to hear the things. And that is if I'm doing it. Wink, wink. No, I don't know. I know that it's gonna be good. And if I were to do it, I'd reprise my role as Ryuji. And then Scramble has just been announced. I don't know anything about Scramble.
Oh yeah, guys, we're doing it round robin style. So yeah.
Oh yeah, you want to guys ask a question?
Okay, so what One Punch question wasn't asked yet?
Well,
None actually.
None.
Yeah,
The first.
shoot.
I'm the first?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, what'd you think of Saitama and like how you got into his head? Oh, like literally bald head, you know.
What did I think of him? I thought that he's a sad man. I auditioned for like 5 characters for that show. It was like Saitama, Speed of Sound Sonic, Amaya Mask, Janos. Why am I forgetting the other one? Oh, Moomin Rider. And I thought for sure I'd get like Janos or something.
Yeah.
And then, because my experience with that was, I got the auditions, and I was just gonna do my regular anime thing.
Yeah.
And then my friend Ray Chase, who plays Pori Pori Prisoner and Dr. Genos, he was like, "You gotta watch the show, dude." And I was like, "No, it's anime. I get it. I don't wanna." And he's like, "No, you gotta watch the show, really." So I watched the first episode, binged the next 11, and then I was really nervous to audition because all I wanted was Saitama.
Yeah.
And, but it gave me a really, really good idea of who that person was, who that character was, and I would never have given the audition that I gave without the context that gave me, because the show is so different, you know. You could never guess who that character is just by looking at the picture. So, took me a bit to get in his head, but it really helped by watching that, and then there was like a 2-month callback process to where basically the producer, the translator, he honed in the reads to work on who the character was. And then when you're in the booth, when you're doing episode 1, you're really honing in on the character. And they take a lot of time nailing down what he sounds like, who he is, and then they move on from there and they kind of speed up. So yeah, who is he? He's this bored guy, but not really. He's just looking for a challenge. He's not lazy. And that contributes to his sort of, laissez-faire attitude. Yeah.
It's so his voice is so relatable and stuff. When I heard the English voice, I was like, they nailed it. This is great.
Thank you. You can't do what they did in Japanese because in the Japanese language, you have all these different inflections that you don't have in English.
Yeah.
So you got to figure out how to make that work for an American audience, and the way they did it was how he sounds. Yeah. Anybody else?
I know you also voiced Miriam from Hunter x Hunter.
Yes.
Is there any moment where you don't see him as a villain? It was just a newborn kind of person?
About halfway through, right? Like he evolves. I love that story because it really is truly an arc where he starts off as one character and really ends up as someone entirely different. Spoiler alert, but he dies. So yeah, but I think it's so touching. He dies. His death is like everything about that last episode is so earned, through his friendship with Komugi. So I cried recording that episode. I didn't know what I was getting myself into when I was going in that day to record that episode, and they were like, "It's the last episode." I was like, "What? What do you mean it's the last episode?" They're like, "Yeah, you die." I was like, "Huh?" I was like, "Okay." And as I was watching it, it was so, they let it, normally they'll play like 5-10 seconds, and then you'll record whatever you just saw. So they'll play the scene in Japanese, you're watching it to picture, and then it'll go beep, 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 and then you say the lines to lip flap. but they let me watch they kept it rolling for 3 minutes so I could see the whole scene and how it played out. And as tears were streaming down my face, I was like, okay, let's record now. Go, go, go. So it was really cool. Yeah. Yeah.
So Saitama is probably
We'll you ask your question, then we'll come back here. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, so Saitama is probably your most commonly associated role. Are you kind of satisfied with that, or is there another character you wish more people would recognize you as?
I think Ryuji is actually my most associated role. Weirdly, you'd think it would be Saitama, but I think that most of the people come up to me at cons for Ryuji to talk about Persona 5. Saitama is like a close second, I would say, or they're about even. But no, I'm lucky to be known as anybody. You know what I mean? To be able to have a character that is so widely known. I think maybe as a whole, One Punch Man is more known by people. My dad will, whenever he talks to someone and he starts telling them about me and my career, he'll be like, my son is the One Punch Man. And I'll be like, and he'll tell me that. He'll be like, I was talking to so-and-so on the plane to go into China, and we just had a conversation, and I was telling him, you're the One Punch Man. And he knows it. People he talks to know it. It's amazing the reach that has. So I'm just so fortunate that I'm a part of any of the properties I'm a part of, and that one especially. Yes.
You play Mob's brother, Ritsu, from Mob Psycho. How did it feel from the growth in the first season? He didn't really talk to his brother. He was trying to stay away from. And now season 2, when he got closer, and he became his brother to actually be as a family and help protect the whole town and city getting destroyed. How did it feel with the progression growth?
Classic brother rivalry. That was cool. The rivalry they had was I don't mean rivalry. I mean he's got a little bit of jealousy of him, right, in the beginning, and then he's sort of protective of him later on, which I think is cool. So there's another arc. What I think is cool, I think what the best anime have is the characters evolve in whatever anime it is, and so and those are also the most enjoyable for me to play. So it's rad. What was specifically the question?
Was you worried that he was going to turn bad?
That he was going to turn bad? Yeah. Well, because he does get a little weird there at some point. So you don't really know where that's going. I wasn't worried about it. If he turned bad, I would have loved to play him as a bad guy. That's always fun. So I'm not worried, but I'm glad he ended up how he did. I think that's better. I think love is a really powerful thing, and they went that direction with it. Yes?
Are there any either vocal types or personality types that you find more difficult than others?
Yeah, I did Star Wars Battlefront, where I played a Quarren creature, a tentacle guy who speaks in a different language, and he's just all gravel, all deep, all yelling all the time. And he's this big guy, and so that's tough to sustain. I think I lost my voice every time I went in there.
And then are there any personality types that you find hard to engage with?
Personality types? Yeah. No. At this point, I don't find it difficult. No, I really enjoy just doing new characters. There's not really any personality types that I find difficult, per se. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Saitama was a challenge to figure out a little bit, because he is not an archetype. He's something else entirely. Other than that, yeah, that's about it. But that actually, Saitama would have been a difficult one. But then I kind of locked into him. Yeah. Do you have a question? Yeah.
Yeah. I know you voiced King in Some Deadly Sins.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering, how do you approach that character with his type of personality?
King. King. How did I approach King? I got to think back to that. I don't remember, because I don't remember the audition, or I don't remember too much about how he started there. I think he changed a little bit. You could even probably hear it in the show. he changed. The voice changed a little bit because his personality changed a little bit. Like in episode 1, he's kind of laid back and he's like, "Hey, Bon, I'm gonna kill you." And then he doesn't sound like that. And then later on, he's so much more bubbly and lively and nobody told me he was gonna change like that. And so I was like, oh, I guess I gotta change the voice now. So the voice changes slightly just based off of what happens, how his character changes. Yeah, that's always a little frustrating for me, not knowing where the character ends up, because I like to sort of nail it in the beginning, and then sometimes I want to say to the director, like, can we do those 7 episodes over again, please? Once I figure it out. So, yeah, does that answer your question? Kind of? Ish? Ish. It's an awful answer.
Good enough.
Good enough.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
All right, so you're playing Totomatsu in the dub for Mr. Osamatsu.
Am I? I don't know. It's not out yet, so... no, I am. That was definitely announced, but it's definitely not out.
It's definitely not out, but I'm wondering, because, I've seen, the original Japanese version, if you started recording it yet, or rather, how you balance both his cute side and, to put it bluntly, the more shitbag element that all the sextuplets have.
I have to see it when it comes out. I can say this much. I am recording it. We go very slow. I've been recording like 1 episode every 3 months. Wow. What are we doing, you guys? Come on, let's put this out into the world.
Movie just came.
That's a little exaggeration. We're doing a little more than that, but we haven't finished, and it's really fun to play. There's been some really top-notch adaptations into English. Some of the lines are extremely funny. That's another one of the shows that when I auditioned for, I was like, I really want to be in this. This is a fun show. So, yeah, I guess you just have to see it when it comes out, which I don't know when will be. Yeah.
If you had, do you have, other than Ryuji, do you have a favorite character in Persona 5?
Other than Ryuji, do I have a favorite character in Persona 5? Nope. I love Ryuji. He's my favorite. Yeah, I don't think so. Nope, the answer to that one is nope. I don't have an answer with a 1-word answer, but that's pretty easy for me. Ryuji's my fave. Did anybody who didn't ask a question want to ask a question? Good? Okay, go ahead.
Right, so you've been able to work on a lot of different works by the manga for one.
Yeah.
Mob Psycho, One Punch Man. So do you have any particular inspirations or takeaways from reading his works? Or favorite parts?
I haven't read too much of his stuff, but just working on his stuff, my takeaway would be that this is a guy, I think this is a good takeaway for everybody. This is a guy who just created something that he enjoyed. It was pure enjoyment. I don't think he was ever looking to monetize this and make it $1 billion property. I think it was just out of the goodness of his heart, just wanted to do something fun. And I think that's important for people to do, is to find a hobby just for fun, go for it. That guy knew he wasn't a good artist. That guy knew that his art wasn't going to make it to TV, but he had a dream and he went after it. He did it. He didn't just think about it. He didn't just philosophize about, what if I did a comic and put it online? No, he did it, and he kept doing it. I think that's a really, really, really important lesson. I think doing is the most important thing when it comes to creativity. You can only think about things for so long. I have a problem with that sometimes. I produce music a little bit, and I a lot of times will think about the thing I'm going to produce, and it'll never get done. You just have to sit down and go after it. So that's my takeaway from that. We're just about out of time. Do we have some quick questions left?
Question?
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask if you have a favorite character that you played, and an add-on, what character would you like to play that you haven't had the chance to
My favorite character is tough to choose because I love them all for different reasons. I love Ryuji; he's close to my heart. Saitama, One Punch Man is such a unique anime. I love that. I love it all for different reasons. What would I like to play? It's a similar answer. I want to play everything. I don't, everything I audition for, I want to book. And the majority of it, obviously, you don't book. But I was saying before too, like maybe myself. Maybe it would be cool to play a character named Max Mittelman or Max Middleman. I don't know, but yeah, it'd be cool to play myself in something. That'd be fun. You know.
Do you prefer to go to the beach or go on a picnic?
Neither. I hate both of them. The beach is not my favorite. Yes.
Yeah, given that Persona 5 was such a long game at base like 60 hours, was there a lot of time constraint recording for that?
Time constraint? You mean
like crunch?
Crunch time? There's always a crunch. There's always like a period where they're like, oh, we're gonna get to the deadline. But the cool thing about voiceover is like normally it can be like, unlike say shooting a film, you can't really move those dates around. If you're sick, you got to work while you're sick. With voiceover, you can kind of be like, guys, can we push the deadline by 2 days? We'll be like, okay. So, but there is always sort of a crunch time. Yeah.
Any role?
Last question. Yes.
Any role or any position where you have to improv, where you have no prep time for what you need to say, but you actually literally like doing?
Role where I need to improv?
Yes.
All the time. Not really for anime, but for a lot of the original animation stuff I do for like Cartoon Network and Disney and Nickelodeon. You get to do ad-libs and improv, and the director gets to choose if they want to keep it or not. But a lot of times I get to keep that in. I got to beatbox for a show called Breadwinners, and they kept it in. The line said humming, and I beatboxed it instead, and they were like, yep. They kept it in, and not only that, they gave me a composer credit. My favorite credit on IMDb. Thank you, guys. That was fun.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.